Hey everyone, what's going on? Greg here again from Team Blast. In this video, I'm going to share what I do for all of my local SEO clients, what I do in the first month, how I use the free local SEO audit to know exactly what I should be working on, and some of the results that my clients can expect to achieve within 3 to 6 months. However, most see results even sooner than that. So if you are a company looking for more leads, more phone calls, more customers, more website traffic for your local business, then this video is for you. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay, this is what I do for my local SEO clients in the first month. Left is a before screenshot. I use Local Falcon. Typically during a free local SEO audit, I'll take 1 or 2 Local Falcon reports as a baseline to kind of show where you're ranking. So basically, if you're not in the top 3 results, you don't really have any green, and you're not on page 1. And then on the other side, so on January 6th, a lot of red. On February 5th, lots of green, means you're on page 1 if you're in the top 3 results, which leads to more phone calls, more website visits, more directions, more customers, everything really that my local clients are looking for. About me, you can pause this video, but I'm just going to keep moving on. Here is the high-level summary of what I do. So it all starts off with the free local SEO audit. So if you reach out to me and you ask for an audit, it allows me to get that baseline number for your traffic, technical errors, and a Local Falcon report. Then in the first month, if we're going to work together, I will address some of those technical issues that I believe are going to restrict website traffic growth. Things like, robots.txt file missing, maybe some navigation menu problems, orphan off pages, 404s, anything else like that. I also use that time to make sure that we have things like Google Analytics tracking for goals set up. A lot of times people will reach out to me for SEO help, but when I look at their analytics, I realize there's no goal tracking. So we don't actually know for sure how many phone calls you're getting or how many form submissions that you received. So in the first month, I'm going to actually set that up. Search tracking and health monitoring. So I set up within SEMRush one project dashboard for your weekly health report and also some daily keyword rankings. Plus, I will pull your historical data within analytics so we have a year-over-year comparison. Building an entity. This is actually very critical for all local clients of mine, or even for my own business too. You can't just have just a website and say, this is my business. You need to be on other places like social media accounts like LinkedIn, Facebook, Trustpilot. You need to be on local directories as well to give as many signals as you can to search engines that you are a legit business in this area that has your phone number, your address, your hours, your price, description about your business, everything like that, to give as many signals as possible so you can rank. Competitor research is the next thing. I use Local Falcon actually as my main source to look at competitors. So I'll take a primary keyword, I'll run the report, and I'll see how competitive you are against a particular competitor. And then if I feel like if we can win, we'll kind of go over that in the first month. Basically, I'm looking for really quick, winnable steps so you guys get more phone calls every month. On-page SEO changes. So a lot of times people will reach out to me, I'll look at their website, and I'll notice that it's either over-optimized or it's not optimized enough. Over-optimized things like keyword stuffing throughout like the URL and the content, and it's just not ranking. Or it actually might have even got like a penalty. On the flip side, some people will reach out to me and they don't have any pages on their websites. So I have to create them in the first month to get them discovered by Google and then crawled and then indexed and then potentially ranked as well. And then finally, if you become a client of mine, every month you get a report from me. It's not auto-generated. It is me going over exactly what I did for the month, the results, your KPIs, everything else like that. All right, so technical fixes. This is an example. I did this audit recently for somebody for a free SEO audit, and it has an 81% score. I don't really care too much about this particular part. I don't care if it's 81% or 75. It's more that if I notice a major significant issue that takes place within your SEMRush profile. So for example, if you have a developer working on your account and they no index the entire site, I'll know about it. If there's a canonical tag issue as well, if there's any like server issues, I will know about it. So hopefully I can spot the error and then get it fixed before your site even notices. Search tracking, health monitoring. So here's an example. I'll move my screen over a little bit. I do daily keyword tracking now for me, for my business, and for my clients. I don't emphasize keyword rankings, and the reason why is because Google's going to change your rank every hour, sometimes every day, every few days, etc. And if you fixate too much on a particular keyword rank, you're going to start to lose focus on kind of what you're trying to do, which is just drive more traffic, high quality traffic to your website to get more phone calls, form submissions, customers, everything else like that. I track the keywords on a daily basis just to see directionally if we're going in the right place. So for example, if you are not ranking for a target keyword. Let's say you are a limousine company and you want to rank for words like prom, limo service, or your airport shuttle service, and you're not ranking at all within your area, I will add that to the daily tracking. So if I see you went from never ranking now to page 2 of Google, that tells me that we're going in the right direction. So when you get to page 1, then I can kind of expect some traffic, but I also know there's going to be hundreds of other words that are going to start to rank as well outside of that primary keyword. So really, it's more for me just to make sure that the strategy that I'm working on is actually benefiting you. So we got, and then sample historical traffic reporting. So this is what I do. If you have analytics, I go through, I export all the data from a landing page report and also from all traffic. And then I will then within Excel basically show a really clear year-over-year comparison if you have that data, because it's very important for me to say, basically the work that I'm doing is driving more traffic to your website, but then I always tie that back into the goals as well. That's actually not in this report. There's another video you can watch me going over more about the goals, but for every client, it's always different. Some care about phone calls, some care about form submissions, whatever the goal is, I always tie that back into the traffic. Building an entity. So this is a really big part of my strategy. So with Google My Business, I'm going to showcase TM Blast as the example here. It's kind of hard to see. What I did is I took a gigantic screenshot of the Google search result for the brand search TM Blast. You have my knowledge panel over here on the right-hand side. You have my images, you have my hours, my address, my reviews, my product carousel, social icons, or social profiles, and updates. These are all very important for Google to understand your business, and it also helps me rank for non-brand terms like SEO company, SEO service, etc. Now, this is not my business. This is actually someone else. I did a before and after screenshot. I think this is actually a great way to kind of show what's going on. So this was on 12/27 verse 2/2/2024. Basically, again, if you are a potential client, you reach out to me, I do a historical snapshot of your Local Falcon report for a target keyword, and I have access to that. It's a tool that I always pay for, so I'm always going to have access to Local Falcon. So if you, let's say, do a free report, and then 2 months later you come back and say, hey, we want to go with you, I'm going to have access to that to always pull and say, okay, this is where you were 2 months ago. But for me, I look at this and say, okay, there wasn't as many green dots in this particular area for this specific keyword. So that after about a month or so of working, the graph went from red and orange to now orange and green. And that resulted in more traffic for them. And then also more phone calls, website visits, and directions as well. Bing Places for Business is present. What I mean by that is that for My Business TM Blast, if you Bing it, my knowledge panel will show up. And believe it or not, a lot of times local clients will reach out to me and they don't have this. Bing, I say, it can be about 10% of your traffic, give or take. It actually can be, obviously less or more depending on your industry. But if your clientele is a little bit older, Edge is the default browser on Windows 10 and 11, and Bing is heavily built into it. So usually by default, then you're going to get more Bing traffic from that. So just something, always to, consider. Basically, if you can get one more phone call per month and it comes from Bing, I think you'd be open to that. Apple Business Connect. Now, this is something that I'm not as focused on, at least to start in 2024. It might change in later on this year, but essentially, I want to just make sure that you verified your business on Apple Maps, because again, it's the default on Apple devices, Apple Maps. From my perspective, it doesn't drive as much opportunity. I notice it more for like restaurants and stuff like that. If people are looking for a restaurant near them, then it's great. But for some of my service clients that I have, not too much traffic opportunity exists here as of now. But I still want to make sure that we verify it and we optimize with some images, description, all that kind of stuff in that first month. In the first month as well, so I do the search command, so tmblast.com and then minus site tmblast.com. So what I'm saying is that Google, tell me everything you have cached about my website, so obviously it'd be for your website. And I can see, okay, are you on YouTube, LinkedIn, our third-party sites, listing off your domain, because again, you want to build that entity for Google to know exactly that this is not a standalone business that has just a website. They have a lot of other third-party sites talking about their business address, hours, directions, website, URL, everything like that. I do the same with Bing. Obviously, Google and Bing are going to have their own different index, but it's just a good way to make sure that, hey, what does Bing know about this website? What does Google know about this website as well? Competitor research. So let me move this over here so you can see. This was a free SEO audit that I did for somebody. They are in the limo and also airport shuttle and car, I guess, shuttle service. What's really important about this map is that you can do a competitor review, and I can click on any of these listings over here, and you can see how the map will change. So for all my clients that I have this access to their Local Falcon report. So what I do is I click on the competitor review, and I can see the share of local voice that actually each competitor has. And then what I can do is I can go into their profile and see how they've optimized for it. Things like, do they have images? Do they have reviews? Is the owner responding to the reviews? Do they have a product carousel? Do they have a services? Do they have a services areas? Do they have updates? Do they have a Q&A? There's a lot of things that we can do with that. So when I go through that, I might notice, hey, some of the top 5 are just ranking, but 3 out of the 5 are not doing updates on a weekly basis. So that would be an opportunity for us to kind of include an update with a keyword-rich specific information about a particular service, and we can track to see if that's going to help us move the needle to rank a little bit better. Same thing again. So I do this for every type of service keyword. Again, I can have it from a different term. I can click on the map, see who's winning, who's not in a particular area. For all my clients that I have, they love this report. Local Falcon has been phenomenal just because a lot of my clients will share these reports internally with different stakeholders, and they can see before and after. It's a great thing. On-page SEO changes. Now, this is an example. I'm using my own website for this Google Rich Result Test. So what I do here is just make sure that when we're optimizing pages, we're giving Google and Bing the best opportunity to rank this content. So things like title tags, meta descriptions, header tags, semantic phrases, all that. Even in this example here, I added some schema markup to the video to make it actually crawlable and indexable, and also for Google to render and understand exactly what this YouTube video is about. A lot of things that we can do from an on-page perspective to boost the rankings. Review the results. So I love when the results are great, but for me, working with local clients and then sharing their numbers and their calls and their customers, everything like that, is a pretty rewarding part of my job. So in this slide here, what I did was I just redacted just some information about it, but basically I say, here's your numbers, traffic is growing, leads are growing, all that kind of stuff. There is a PDF report that I also just removed the name from, but they get the report. It's I build it myself. It takes about an hour to 2 hours for me to build. At the start of every month, I go over exactly everything that I did, the results, and kind of what I want to do next. I think it's a really critical way to kind of build trust with your clients. And again, this isn't an auto-generated report, so everything you're going to get here, it will be understandable because it's me explaining every slide, kind of like what I'm doing right now. SEO first month roadmap. So kind of put in summary, every client's going to be different. But this is just a good way to kind of see what the first month will look like. So fixing any major technical issues on the website, usually from what the local SEO audit will tell me. Set up analytics tracking. So if we do become partners together, I'm going to go through and make sure that we have phone call tracking, form submission, all that kind of stuff. I have a developer that I use for this. So if you don't have the expertise or an internal team member to do this, I will actually have mine do that on your behalf. Then I do historical tracking. So I use things like analytics from Google Analytics 4, SEMRush keyword tracking, and also SEMRush weekly health report. The big thing for me is Google My Business, Bing, and also Apple. So make sure, again, from like the local audit, do you have all 3? If you do, that's great, because then I can go through and start to do my work. However, there are times where I'll start with a new client and they'll have only Google. They don't have Bing and Apple. So that'd be my priority, is simply just getting Bing verified. Bing verified is pretty easy because you can just sync it from Google. Apple usually takes like 3 weeks sometimes just to kind of go through. They have to like see some verification. They have to see some information to show that you have like an actual business at this address. They might need some other information to kind of show you are like the owner here, anything like that. It just depends on what they need. But effectively, if we have all 3, then it's me optimizing each of those 3 to own the map essentially for that target term. Focus on optimizing core pages on the site. So for me, I don't care too much about overall traffic. I care more about driving traffic to specific service pages on your website. So if you are, again, I'll use that limousine company. If you have, let's say, 15 types of shuttle services that you do, like airport shuttle, prom, a wedding, whatever. Each of those would be a core service that I would actually kind of focus on. I have the historical keyword rankings, and I kind of go through and add new title tags, descriptions, header tags, optimize the images, maybe even rescale the images so they load a little bit faster for users, internal links, and then if you have video too, maybe adding the video schema markup just to kind of give as many signals as possible to Google and Bing. We talked about reviewing the competitors, so Local Falcon for me is my primary tool. I also use SEMRush, but for me, Local Falcon, just to see who's ranking for what terms is very critical. Directories is the next thing. So if you are a local business, I am going to suggest to you all throughout the first month or so, here are some places you should be listed on. Now, I don't pay for that. The client will always pay for any directory listing, but for me, you want to build out that entity for Google and Bing. And also plus too, you can drive some referral traffic. A lot of times I might see a directory ranks for some of the terms that you want to go after. Like if you're, let's say, a wedding photographer, and someone searches for, let's say, wedding photography, Troy, New York, maybe a directory will show up. So for me, if I can get my client listed on there, it's a great way for them to get more exposure for their business and maybe even get a few leads as well. It's usually worth it for the price. And then as I said, each month you get a report, has me go over exactly what I did, your results, and where I'm seeing things going. I always go over the report too with every client. When do most local clients see results? This is the question I get all the time. It's really hard for me to know, but for me, from my experience, typically between 3 and 6 months is a good time frame to kind of pencil in. It always varies. I have a client in New York City in a very competitive field. That's very tough for me to break in. More competition. We've still been successful, but it takes longer. However, my business, I've had success with it in the first month and a half or 2 months being in upstate New York. I've had other clients see results before 3 months. It all really depends. Factors like your industry, your location, your target terms, all that kind of stuff. So, but typically 3 to 6 months is a good benchmark to kind of show. This image here, I'll just move my screen over so you can see it better. Oops, let me go back. This is the term New York local SEO. So you can see on 12.1, lots of red, some green and lots of red. And then basically what happened was on January 19th, basically all green. That's how I get most of my clients, or at least a lot of my leads now from this one term. All right. Now you guys can stop watching this video at this point, but now here's just some quick case studies about what I do. So I have some Google My Business reviews here. I rank in a 30-mile radius for the term SEO company in upstate New York. SEO service in 35-mile radius. I have an 87% market share for that. This is one of my clients I have in New York City. We started to own the map, went from red basically in December 1st to more light green in December 27th. Another client of mine, I just redacted their name. You guys get the idea, more green on the map. The Stadium Reviews website that I own drove 2.6 million sessions to it. From the year prior was 1 million. And a client of mine from the old analytics profile, you can see the traffic growth going on with there. Same thing, another old GA account that I have, just the SEO growth that was taking place. Anyway, that's the report. That's what I do for local clients in the first month. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. And as always, have a good rest of your day.